Good with y'all boys, man. Real game official, man. And we back in this thing with another lit banger. You see what I'm saying, man? We got Uncut Hoops. Gave him that subscribe because he deserved it. He got banger content, man. He's the method. He's the method. He's one of the methods, man. Uncut Hoops, man. He got why LeBron James is not the GOAT. 2008. So we're gonna get into this video. And yet again, another detailed W video that this is gonna be explaining and exposing why this man ain't the GOAT.
Because I'm one of those efficiency guys. Like I hate going out there just chucking up shots.
Offensive players than Rondo and Perkins. LeBron screen.
You know, looking at the box score,
yet chuck it up and
maybe
brick.
8 for 23. Or
Game 1, 12 points. 2 for 18? 2 for 18? And then 6 for 24?
or 9 for 25, or
The outlet to James, who has started 1 of 3 over Pierce for 2.
James for 3.
Approaching a minute to play in the first. Another screen. Pierce fights through it. LeBron from 2.
Yo, watch out.
I'll shoot.
Stay at home on LeBron James. Make him a jump shooter. Switch comes. Cole gives him a cushion. If you're going to beat me, you're going to have to beat me with a contested
Oh my
jump
God, that's horrible.
being efficient, you know, is something I've always prided myself on.
When it comes to LeBron James' first stint in Cleveland, and really his entire pre-championship days, one of the go-to defensive LeBron James' era is saying, quote, he did not have
every highlight we finna put that on.
And for the vast majority of NBA fans, that's the narrative they roll with. But looking more in depth at the Cavaliers during that time period, it wasn't always the help underperforming, and wasn't always the help not showing up. As looking at the NBA Finals versus the Spurs, LeBron in that series was simply abysmal. And despite his lackluster play of the series, was still pretty close throughout. And like I say over and over again, it's not always the fact you lost, but how you lost. LeBron in that series, yes, wasn't the favorite, but he played so poorly, it's simply inexcusable. Now looking at 08 versus the Celtics, a very similar thing.
And the Cavaliers at one time narrowed it to 2. Here's LeBron James.
I mean, he's there definitely in the runaway train on the fast break standpoint.
Oh my.
Offensively, he's pretty predictable. You can kind of guess what he's going to do.
Love how Danny Ainge has built his bench here in Boston.
What is LeBron adding? Like, he's still the same player he was 3 years ago.
It's a great question, and I was just talking about this with somebody. The fact that he hasn't developed a post-up game yet is inexcusable.
On James, and now Perkins.
For the 08 East Semis Boston vs. Cleveland, it's one of the most misremembered series in league history. As looking at LeBron games 1 through 7, he wasn't carrying this Cavs team, playing at some all-time great level the entire series. And actually, Cleveland's biggest weak point was LeBron James' outside game and his jump shot. As outside of fast break points, transition points, LeBron offensively was actually pretty easy to guard. And looking at game 1 in Boston, the first 3 quarters, it was just that. LeBron the first 3 quarters in game 1, 10 points, 9 turnovers, 1 for 10 shooting, 0 for 3 from deep, and from the line was pretty good. LeBron the first 3 quarters was an offensive no-show, and honestly, he was a net negative for the entire Cavaliers team. Now, for the pro-LeBron crowd says LeBron James just carried the Cavs every single game, if LeBron plays that poorly that bad, you see the Cavs, they're down by 20, 25 points, heck, even 40 points. In this game 1, that's not the case. LeBron having 9 turnovers being 1 in 10 shooting, the Cavs at that point only down by 1 point entering the 4th quarter. And looking at the 4th quarter, Cleveland down by 2 points, a chance to force OT and steal a game 1. But unfortunately, LeBron James turned in to LeBron James.
Timeout on a 20. Here's LeBron James against Pierce. Tough shot. Scooped up. Ilgauskas. James going strong. Tip up and in. Ilgauskas still have the foul to give. Ilgauskas setting a screen. James goes in. Misses the layup. You blew it!
So LeBron missing that game-tying layup, that was a huge miss for the start of the series. as the majority of times underdog teams, the game you gotta steal is game 1 on the opponent's home floor. And looking at LeBron in the fourth quarter, I mean, just an absolute terrible showing. 2 points, 1 of 8 shooting, did absolutely nothing. And the entire second half, it wasn't much better. 2 points, 6 turnovers, 1 for 12 shooting, 0 of 5 from deep, and his game score was negative 8.1. LeBron in game 1 wasn't below average, he wasn't bad, he was all-time historically terrible. And look at that turnover count.
Oh, mind y'all, 08, this is 4 years in. Whoa, oh, you gotta count 03, 04, okay, so 03, 04, 5, 6, 7. Bro, that's about 6 years, bro, 6 seasons. Wait, 03, 04, 04, 05, 05, 06, 06, 07, 07, 08. That's 5 years, bro. So in 5 seasons, bro, you didn't really work on your bag and your game. Compare Jordan's first 5. Compare Kobe's. We're going to do Kobe. Stop. We ain't going to keep mentioning Jordan. He's nowhere in his stratosphere on his level. Kobe, first 5 years. Well, the first 2 years, he had to work on his game. He had to get better. Bro, by the 5th year, bro, he was already winning championships, Kobe. He was focused on, at that point, three-peating with Shaq. He worked on his bag. He worked on his game because he came in the league young, out of high school. He came out of high school just like Bron did, but he worked on his bag. He worked on his game. Bron, you didn't work on nothing. People keep saying Bron changed his game over the years. Bro, I'm looking at 08. That looked just like LeBron right now. Nothing has changed. His shooting got a little bit better. That's it. His shooting got a little bit better. That's it. It's still the same bag. It's still the same step back. It's still the crazy bad shot selections and pull-ups. It's still him driving and missing layups you should be able to make. You didn't really work on your game. You wasn't really in the lab like that. You was working out, taking them, you know what.
First in an NBA playoff game. At that point, tied for the most in league history. Until this day, so the 3rd most in a playoff game all time.
28. James losing the ball.
Off the glass. It's a big team. It's a long team. They're the best in the league at offensive.
Trying to set the screen. Posey doing a great job on him. And they're going to call travel.
One-on-one.
Not a bad idea. Let James go one-on-one.
He's a pretty good player.
And off the hands of Varejao, because don't forget we have 7 new players on the roster this year. Poe makes 1 out of 2, and an over and back.
What's that smell? What smell? Ooh. You stink.
And here's the added layer of context. Yes, those
Reggie
guys in
Miller's
those games
sister?
had 10 plus turnovers. But out of the entire bunch, only one guy shot worse in the field than LeBron James. That, of course, being Quinn Buckner, who was over 2
11%? 11? Since when was 11% gonna get anything done? Since when was that? I got a deep bag. Come on, bro. Your field goal percentages say you don't have any bag. You never had a bag. You had a part, like people saying.
LeBron James, who was 2 for 18. So right here, LeBron James, the combo of turning the ball over and shooting poorly.
I can shoot better than 11%. I promise y'all I can.
And with LeBron's legacy, it is never brought up, not
And I ain't
once.
even the best hooper.
Erased from existence.
And to put this into perspective, looking at the Cavs' so-called bum squad, their leader in game scores are as follows. First, Big Z, 19.0, then Ben Wallace, Wally Zerbiak, Daniel Gibson, Pavlovich, Varejao, Joe Smith, Delonte West, then LeBron James. LeBron of his own team ranked 9th in game score, dead last for the Cavaliers. In Michael Jordan's playoff career, his absolute worst playoff game, he was never dead last for his team in game score and not once in the negatives. LeBron in game 1 accomplished both those feats. And with someone like Jordan the bar and the standard, LeBron in game 1 fell woefully short. As looking at Jordan's pre-championship days, his lowest scoring game, 15 points.
Oh my God,
30%.
0.0%, 16.7%. You in a negative 0.7 when you on the floor? Oh my God. 12 points, 11%, 11.1% field goal percentages. Compared to 30%, 20%, 31%. Come on, this is a positive of 8.4. Come on, bro.
Worst game from three,
debate.
minimum 5 attempts, 20%. Worst game on twos, 31%. Lowest game score, 8.4. And most turnovers, 8. In Michael Jordan's pre-championship career, those were his game lows, 85 to 1990. LeBron in game 1 across the board was worse than MJ in all 6 categories.
That's what it is, Men in Black.
So looking at game 2 once again in Boston, LeBron in the first half, not much better. 3 of 13 shooting, really not doing anything. At this point, Big Z for the Cavaliers, their best scoring option, and honestly, their best player. And one of the big reasons LeBron played so poorly in game 1 and the first half of game 2, this guy in the first 6 quarters didn't make a single jump shot or a shot outside of 3 feet. And it wasn't until the third quarter of game 2, he finally made a shot that wasn't a layup or dunk.
LeBron James, once again, a long night. 3 made shots, 10 missed shots, all from the perimeter, executing the game plan to a T.
5 for 31 in the series so far as he continues to struggle.
With the Cleveland Cavaliers, the team with much more energy right now is the Celtics.
West able to hold on. Kicks it out.
Come on, you gotta
Open
make that.
3. And LeBron James still has not hit a shot out of the paint in this series so far.
Up 2 easy baskets in transition, get a timeout and talk about it.
James knocks it down.
Now, LeBron being so bad in game 1 of the Cavaliers still hung around.
Oh my God.
Game 2 of the second half, the exact
3
opposite.
for 15.
Boston in the fourth quarter, up by 20 points. The game essentially over. LeBron at this point only had 15 points, another dud offensively. But in typical LeBron James fashion, his team down by 22 points, 24 points, some extra buckets and free throws to pad those numbers, make it look not as damning. Now, despite LeBron James adding on those stats, those garbage time numbers, that had no impact on the game, LeBron once again by game score wasn't the best player on his team.
I told y'all this in the
second
older
best.
videos. On the older videos, bro. Y'all go click on the cards, man. The stat pattern, he been doing this for years. Getting blown out, losing the series. He's scoring in his points per game. He getting like 20 points and 30 points in garbage time. Them 20 to 30 points he's getting, that's looking on the stat sheet, it's looking like he didn't have help. Just because he's stat padding. All of the starters is out. Of course you finna go crazy and score and have at the end of the game 30 to 40 points. But when the starters was in, you going 3 for 15. This is proof, y'all. Y'all, if you click on this channel, bro, it's no way you could sit here and say he the GOAT or better than MJ. It's no way. And y'all can't get the Men in Black thingy to make you lose your memory because you see it. So if you just go back to that and get the Men in Black treatment, you just kind of delayed. You kind of slow.
As once again, Big Z and Wally Zerbiak were the best players for Cleveland the first 2 games in Boston. And LeBron's game score was a pitiful 6.8 in game 2. And look, for someone like Big Z games 1 and game 2, he was the Cavs' best player. Did he was playing great? Not really. Why he was their best player per se is LeBron James was so bad. LeBron in games 1 and game 2 averaged 16.5 points, 8.5 turnovers, 19% shooting, I repeat, 19% shooting, didn't make a 3, and the line was below average. LeBron the first 2 games in Boston had a total of 17 turnovers and 8 made field goals. And back-to-back games, historic playoff stinkers.
James with his first shot of the game, way off the mark. Perkins getting a little more physical now with Ilgauskas.
After what happened to him against San Antonio in the finals, I'm a little stunned that he is coming back with basically the same game. I mean, San Antonio, the Celtics are just following what San Antonio did.
Boy, the last 7 points in this game,
making them
trying to take the lead.
Always look at the racket on a bad shot. I didn't understand that.
LeBron James. How quiet it is at the Garden. James pulls back for 3 and still comes up empty.
Turn it off.
Oh my God.
Turn it off.
Now, once again, for some perspective, looking at Michael Jordan, out of his entire playoff career, 180 games, only one time ever did not crack 25% shooting. LeBron, the first 2 games in Boston, had done it in back-to-back games. And if you include 07 versus the Spurs, he had already done it a whopping 3 times in his very young playoff career. And that's one thing I do want to harp on, LeBron's early career failing versus Michael Jordan's. Yes, both these guys for 7 years did not win a championship. But looking at LeBron's level of play and his losses, far, far inferior to Michael Jordan, even when he lost. As looking at Michael Jordan's worst game pre-championship was 8.4 versus the Knicks in 1989. LeBron from 06 to 08 had topped that mark a staggering 5 times. Twice versus the Spurs, twice versus Boston, and 1 time versus the Wizards.
God, bro.
Now, looking at Game 3 in
Y'all
Cleveland,
don't want to see these
a must-win
stats,
game for the
man.
Cavaliers they cannot afford to drop. As going down 0-3, the series is effectively over. And look at the first half, LeBron James, I mean, not that great. 7 points, 2 turnovers, 2 of 6 shooting, and from the line, 50%. LeBron the first half, I mean, I guess a little bit better, but not much. The main story of the first half of the Cavaliers was Wally Zerbiak and Delonte West, who combined for 22 first half points.
Look at this dude.
And the Cavs at 1 point up by 20, by halftime up by 17. Much like Game 1 in Boston, Game 3 in Cleveland, LeBron James offensively was pretty shaky, even in net negative. For the Cavs, role players of the Cavaliers defense kept them in the ball game, and in Game 3, kept them up by above 15 points. And looking at the Cavs offense this game, a total of 108 points. In 2025, that number, nobody cares. 2008, that is a big-time deal, especially versus Boston. As looking at this team defensively, only 3 times in the entire postseason they allow 100-plus points. Once versus the Lakers, once versus Atlanta, and this game versus Cleveland. In this Game 3 in Cleveland, none of the most points scored against Boston were their biggest loss of the entire playoffs, losing by 22 points, with LeBron James shooting 31% from the field.
James taking his time. Goes. West to Varejao. Varejao even putting it in. Game as well.
Yeah, but this has a different feel to it right now. It just, the intensity level, the execution, the contributions by so many guys, it just has a different feel to it.
For the Celtics, Zerbiak going right at Ray. And James getting a lot of help tonight. Again, ball movement. On their 17 field goals, they have 14 assists, and there's 8.5 minutes left in the half.
Wally Zerbiak 4 for 5. Joe Smith 3 for 3, and that's an important stat, Joe Smith. Anderson Varejao 2 for 3. This is the kind of LeBron James is the only Cavalier not above 50%. He is ruining the team's shooting percentage right now.
Now, looking at Game 4 in Cleveland, kind of the exact same story. LeBron offensively, his jump shot still was not there. Boston was daring to shoot whenever they could. And LeBron this game.
How you the best player of the how you the best player on the team, and you got the lowest field goal percentage, and you getting carried?
35% shooting, only 21 points. For superstar standards, that's really not great. Why Cleveland won Game 4 was due to their defense and not LeBron James, as LeBron, quite honestly, stood big-time net negative. His jump shot simply was not falling.
And here, you know, we talked about him becoming a jump shooter. You see 5 Celtics back, and they're content with him just taking jump shots. Here it is again. We're going to lock in. We're going to bait him into taking these long jump shots. Again, back up off of 1-4 set, and all of a sudden it's a tough angles to pass at. Again, off the double, we're going to double team him off that, make him into a jump shooter.
It's not complicated.
So look, for LeBron's offensive arsenal, like I said earlier, in transition, an absolute beast. In the half court, above average, but not great. And for Game 4, LeBron James being pretty meh offensively, the Cavs in the fourth quarter defensively locked up Boston to 31% shooting.
For the Celtics, Varejao watching Garnett. 5 to shoot.
Now the defense by Garnett. Here comes Pierce working on the mismatch of Delonte West. Rebound by Verjao.
A very tough shot.
A double Allen. Here's Garnett, only 6 points since the first quarter. Rajon Rondo picked up by Verjao, who now goes back on. Here's Gibson, a screen, and that was clogging up the defense by Rondo. Allen from Pierce over West. And the rebound. Volleyball inside, picked up by Joe Smith. What'd you think, Doug?
I tell you, impressive defense, and I'm really impressed with Cleveland. Both these teams struggled
Look at him
so
trying to take
badly
credit.
offensively. But what ended up happening tonight is Cleveland came up with the big plays when they needed it. And you know, Anderson Varejao and Joe Smith off the bench, what they did as big men in that fourth quarter, and the timely shooting by Daniel Gibson.
So that right there from these so-called bums, some pretty great play. And the series being tied 2-2, honestly, kind of a miracle. And looking back on it, if LeBron played halfway decent, even a little below average, the Cavs at this point play up 3-1 and control the series. But with LeBron playing so poorly, it's only tied 2-2. And look at his overall numbers. 18.8 points, abysmal. 5.8 turnovers, atrocious. 25% shooting, 25% from 3, and from line, sub 70%. If the Cavaliers supporting cast were so bad, so abysmal, these guys were absolute bums. How can LeBron play that bad versus the Celtics and still tied 2-2? The answer is quite simple. The Cavaliers weren't bums, and defensively, they were actually pretty elite. Now, once again, looking at LeBron's offense, again, games 1 through 4, abysmal. And compared to Michael Jordan, LeBron's overall efficiency was completely in the dumpster. LeBron 06-08, a 46-game sample size, games under 40% shooting, had amassed 21. Michael Jordan pre-championship, a larger sample size, only had 8 such games. On 35% shooting, Jordan only had 4, LeBron 11. Games under 30%, Jordan had 0, LeBron had 5. Games under 25% shooting, Jordan had 0, LeBron James had 3. The point of that graphic is quite simple. It's showing LeBron James versus Jordan pre-championships. Yes, they both lost, but the way they lost was completely different. And for guys like Colin Cowherd, Shannon Sharp, even a Nick Wright, who are uber critical of pre-title Jordan, why for LeBron James the same scrutiny not applied? As looking at LeBron James, not only lost more, but played worse at a much higher rate.
Is that a fact? That's a fact.
Now, looking back at the Boston series in Game 5, a critical Game 5, either go up 3-2 or down 3-2, LeBron in the first half finally showed up, a game-high 23 points, the Cavaliers up by 3 at half. Now, for the third quarter, things really went south. LeBron in the third quarter only managed 2 points, and the Cavaliers had 17 in total, whereas Boston had 29, and in the fourth quarter, up by nearly 10 points. And I guess give LeBron James credit this game, 35 points, 48% shooting, only had 4 turnovers. For LeBron in this series, his first really great game, and LeBron-esque performance. But the problem for LeBron right here, he is highly inconsistent. As looking at Game 6 in Cleveland in the first half, classic old LeBron James, the same broken jump shot. As in the first half of this game, 13 points, 5 turnovers, 2 of 9 shooting, and from the line, 9 for 11. Now, LeBron being abysmal in the first half with 5 turnovers, the Cavs at the break actually up by 9 points. And they close the first half, a 17-2 run with LeBron James doing very, very little. And here's the big story of the first half. Not LeBron's terrible offense, but the Cavs' great defense. Game 6 in Cleveland was an absolute slugfest, as Boston in the first half only managed 33 points.
Boston was supposed to come in and get this thing done, put Cleveland to sleep.
Well, we're looking good early. You know, we got a 6-point lead. The Cavs can't shoot straight. LeBron's 2 for 9. He's got 5 turnovers. And then the roof caves in.
Once again, a big free throw disparity, playing into something that you, Michael, mentioned a little bit earlier on the show.
Automatic part of
the travesty.
Advantage. Doesn't add up that Cleveland could be up 9. As much as they were outplayed throughout the first quarter and the first 4 or 5 minutes of the second quarter, here they are up 9. They're in control of this game, once again, the home team.
LeBron James came into this game shooting 31%, John, for the series. He should be hanging a help wanted sign on his back.
For this Cavaliers team in 08, they're a very, very odd team. Offensively, very, very streaky and downright bipolar. But defensively, they nearly always bring it. And the Cavs at this point, that is their biggest strength everyone overlooks. This Cavaliers team in the postseason, they ranked first in defensive rating, first in opponents' points per game, and top 2 in opponents' field goal percentage and opponents' three-point percentage. Again, this Cavs team's strengths were defense and rebounding. In the 2000s era, extremely valuable. And once again, looking at Boston in Game 6, they didn't surpass 50 points till 2 minutes in the fourth quarter of this game. Again, the Cavs defense, that was their strength and why they've won games this series. And looking at Boston the entire playoff run, their lowest scoring game the entire run came in Game 6 versus Cleveland, where they didn't crack 70. And looking at their worst 8 games scoring-wise, 5 of the 8 came versus the Cavaliers. Now taking it one step further, looking at Boston's worst shooting games the entire playoff run. Out of their worst 8 games, half of them came versus the Cavaliers. And last but not least, Boston's worst offensive games based off offensive rating, out of their worst 8 games, 5 of them came versus Cleveland.
Coincidence? I think not!
In this very bizarre 2000s era basketball, an era I loved, defense really, really mattered. And having great backline defenders, great rebounders, that for any team was a must-have in this era. And the Cavaliers, they had that in spades. Looking at Ben Wallace, Big Z, and especially Verjao. Now, looking at Game 7 in Boston for this series, it is the only game ever talked about and mentioned when it comes to Cavs vs Celtics in 2008. As looking at LeBron in this game, for the first time all series,
mind y'all, the Ray Allen video we did, take that into mind what Ray Allen was saying. He can't shoot better, dribble better, shoot free throws better, nothing better than Jordan. Ray Allen been in the league. He was in the league for like what, 20 years as well? About 20, but like 15, about 17 years. So he know. Bron couldn't even get past him in the Celtics.
Carried Cleveland with 45 points. LeBron this game for the most part was fantastic, but how he got here was a pretty rocky road. As LeBron's game 1 through 6, under 35% shooting and 5.8 turnovers. If you want to say LeBron carried in Game 7, go ahead and say it, I'll actually agree with you. If you want to say he carried the entire series, the entire postseason, that is a blatant lie and factually false. Now, in regards to Game 7 LeBron playing great, his overall stats were off the charts. But here's where things get kind of murky. LeBron's numbers on point in the first half had 23 points. When the fourth quarter things got pretty tight, LeBron James kind of choked down the stretch, a fact nobody ever mentions.
Pierce is back on James with Posey on the bench now. Shot clock down to 7. James to Pavlovich, into Wallace, back to James, a 3. Won't go, pinch finals.
Drive!
Pierce, House. Brown the jump shot, puts it in.
About Rondo back in the ball game along with Posey, defensive purposes. You need a stop.
James, they get out of his hands. Delonte West, no good. Rebound, fought for, scrambled for. And Posey trying to get a head start. Ilgauskas on the second tip.
Get the ball!
And calls timeout.
Yeah, but that's a mistake on
He had a
James's
chance
part.
to dive
That's
on
a
it.
blockout.
Get
He's
the
got
ball.
to go. You've got the advantage on the jump. You know where they're going to try to tip it. You've got to hit Paul Pierce. Just like a defensive rebound, this has to be a blockout. Pavlovich trying to do his job.
Get the ball!
Pierce,
What you doing?
That's just a flat-out mistake by a guy having a tremendous game.
Pierce making his move, finding Garnett. Garnett's jumper won't go. Rebound, LeBron James.
You got a chance. That's 2. This your second chance. Don't do nothing dumb.
James
Drive. Hurry up, drive.
Gets
Get
inside.
to 2.
Tough shot. Misses. And
This
Garnett the
nigga's
rebound.
ass.
Now they have to foul. Pierce ahead to Allen. They have to foul. And they're finally due.
So that right there, LeBron James in Game 7, do or die, under 2 minutes left,
He
a
got to
complete and utter cluster.
We already know that.
As LeBron in the final 2 minutes, only managed 1 point, 0-3 shooting, and 1 for 2 on free throws.
Matter.
This right here is a classic case of a great game with a pretty suspect finish. Would I call it a bad game overall? No, I wouldn't. But how LeBron finished and closed and flat out choked, it matters as Game 7 in the context
That's what you was
of the
doing.
series. As once again, Games 1 through 6, LeBron was abysmal. Look, when it comes to Cavs vs Celtics matchup, it was a very evenly matched series that went down to the wire. And looking back at Games 1 and Game 2, if LeBron played slightly better, the Cavaliers could have stolen one of those games and stole the series.
He ain't lying.
To give you guys some context in comparison to Jordan, only one time in his career ever was he below 40% shooting. That came versus Miami in 1997. LeBron in a 3-series stretch versus Spurs and Celtics shot worse than that, not once, but twice. Again, it's not always if you lose, but how you lose and how you go out swinging. When LeBron lost, he lost in embarrassing fashion, not only on the scoreboard, but also on the stat sheet. And look at someone like Jordan versus the Bad Boy Pistons. Series losses they're held purely against Jordan and not his teammates. 88 versus the Pistons, 27 points per game, 3.6 turnovers, 49% shooting. Compared to LeBron versus Boston, far superior stats. 89 versus the Pistons, the exact same thing. Higher scoring average, low turnovers, better shooting from the field by far. 1990, it's not even close. My point right here is pretty simple. Yes, MJ versus the Pistons was losing, he was falling short. But looking at his own individual play, compared to LeBron when he lost, it was far, far superior in all respects. And if you want to go game by game, looking at Jordan's duds versus LeBron's duds, again, LeBron far, far worse more often. As looking at Jordan versus the Pistons, only 4 times ever in a game was he below 40% shooting, twice in 89 and twice in 1990. LeBron James 07 to 08, a 17-game sample size, shot under 40% an astounding 9 times. And out of the bunch, 3 times was below 25%, something Jordan never did versus Bad Boy Pistons, an all-time great defensive team. And here's one last stat I will give you guys. Out of LeBron's 9 games below 40% shooting, the Cavaliers plus minus in those games was +6. Once again, showing the Cavs barometer wasn't LeBron's offense his shooting, what it was their defense. So that right there is the end of the video, and I'll say one last thing. If you want to say LeBron's supporting cast offensively, they were inconsistent, hit or miss, that's actually pretty true. But in the same respect, LeBron James was equally as inconsistent, if not more so. And for superstar standards, Michael Jordan standards, he was simply abysmal this series, games 1 through 7. For every NBA fan, all I ask is to be consistent. If you're going to knock Jordan's first 7 years in the NBA for losing, but still playing well, go ahead and do that. But looking at LeBron James, a lot of fans, they don't do that and go easy on him in these series where he simply did not show up and perform up to expectations. And 08 versus Boston, another big-time stain on his legacy that in comparison to Jordan is a massive deal that has to be talked about. As always, thank you guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you next time.
Man, shout out Uncut Hoops, man. Shout out Uncut Hoops. For always bringing the bangers, man. For always bringing the bangers and being the method, man. When it comes to this Bron content. Bron and the Jordan content, to be real. Man, this who y'all call the king and GOAT? Look at these videos we doing on Bron and look at Jordan's legacy in general. We could watch Jordan movies. That's how good he was. I could sit here honestly this month and go the whole month watching Jordan stuff. He don't have that much bad moments. Besides the Bad Boy Pistons, that's it. That's it. That's really the only team he couldn't get by. That's it. Earlier in his career. Bron got the Celtics, the Mavericks, the Spurs 2 times, the Warriors, and counting. Come on, bro. Like, it's a whole, like, man, I could go 2 to 3 months on the channel reacting to Bron content and failures. 2 to 3 months. That's how much content it is to show y'all he's not on Jordan's level. Y'all take that in mind and click on the cards. I'm gonna either put a playlist or a video I did before this. I'm out though, y'all.